Three motorcyclists, inside a metal sphere, moving at full speed. One falls from the top, the other two have nowhere to go. The show was still running when it happened. The audience was still watching. In the archive, 5 files. 5 moments when the most dangerous place in the world wasn't where anyone expected. Every circus act is built on a single idea: that danger can be controlled. The performer trains for years, rehearses the same movement thousands of times, learns every variable, every margin, every failure point, and then the show begins, and something changes. 3 motorcyclists inside a metal sphere the size of a small room, moving at speed, in tight formation, in the dark, lit only by LEDs on their bikes and suits. This is the Globe of Death. The act has existed for over 100 years. The name is not marketing. The physics of the stunt demand total precision. Each rider traces a path that exists only because the other 2 paths exist around it. Remove one variable, and the system collapses. On the evening of November 21st, 2025, at the Imperial Royal Circus in Sant'Anastasia, Italy, one of the 3 riders lost control near the top of the sphere. He fell. The other 2 had no time, no space, no option. They crashed into him at the bottom. Christian Quesada Vasquez was 26 years old. He died that evening. His colleague was hospitalized in critical condition. The 3rd rider was uninjured. Many children were in the audience that night. The mayor of Sant'Anastasia later wrote, "I regret that fate wanted them to witness such a tragedy." The Globe of Death has produced accidents across its entire history. The act requires that 3 human beings share a space in which there is no margin for individual error. A single moment of lost control becomes everyone's emergency. 3 riders, 1 sphere, no margin. In the next file, there was a margin. 15 years of experience, thousands of hours of training, and he posted about the new act on Instagram, hours before the show. File 2. Yann Arnault had been with Cirque du Soleil for 15 years, 38 years old, father of 2 daughters, one of the company's most experienced aerialists. The kind of performer the CEO described as loved by all who had the chance to know him. March 17th, 2018. Tampa, Florida. The show, Volta. Evening performance. A few hours before showtime. Arnault posted on Instagram, "After so much work and training and staging, our Straps duo act is finally in the show tonight. It's time to go for it." The aerial Straps act is considered relatively controlled by Cirque standards. 2 performers on suspended straps. Strength, timing, coordination. The kind of act Arnault had performed in some form for most of his professional life. During the performance, one of his hands slipped. He fell 20 feet onto the stage. According to a witness, he was out cold and not moving the moment he hit. Arnault was taken to Tampa General Hospital. He died from his injuries early the following morning. He was performing the act for the first time in front of a live audience. Arnault was not inexperienced. He was not reckless. He had prepared for this moment across months of rehearsal. He had performed variations of this act for the better part of his adult life. Everything that was supposed to be in place was in place. The training, the preparation, the experience, and still between the hand and the strap, there was a gap, a single moment of lost contact. 20 feet. The show had opened that night with his announcement. "It's time to go for it." Yann Arnault. 15 years of experience, 1 moment of lost grip. In the next file. The danger wasn't in the performer's hands. It was in the rigging, and it had been accumulating for months. File 3. The show KR at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas has been called the most technologically advanced theatrical production in the history of Western theater. A rotating stage, moving platforms that appear to float, 86 cast members, a production budget of $260 million. Sarah Gouillard-Guillot was 31 years old, a French acrobat and aerialist, known to colleagues as Sassoon, a performer of exceptional technical skill in one of the most demanding shows in the world. On the evening of June 29, 2013, during a scene in which performers are hoisted up the side of the stage, Gouillard-Guillot was raised to a height of at least 94 feet. The safety wire detached. She fell. Her fall took her into a pit beneath the stage, out of the audience's view. Initially, a lot of people in the audience thought it was part of the choreography, one eyewitness said, but you could hear screaming, then groaning, and we could hear a female artist crying from the stage. The other performers were left suspended in the air above the stage. They were lowered one by one. Sarah Gouillard-Guillot did not survive. The subsequent investigation by Nevada OSHA found the cause. She had been hoisted too quickly. The sudden acceleration caused the safety wire to detach from its connection. The investigation found that this was due to insufficient training on the specific equipment used in that scene. The system that was supposed to save her was the system that failed her. Not because the technology was inadequate. Not because Cirque du Soleil was negligent in a general sense. Because the gap between the sophistication of the equipment and the training to operate it was exactly wide enough. For one acceleration, one detached wire, 94 feet. Sarah Gouillard-Guillot, 94 feet, a wire detached because of a training gap nobody had identified. In the next file, everyone saw the danger coming. They had been living with it for 44 years. File 4, October 3rd, 2003. The Mirage Hotel and Casino, Las Vegas. Roy Horn's 59th birthday. Siegfried and Roy had been performing their show at the Mirage since 1990. By 2003, they had given over 5,750 performances. The show had grossed $500 million. They were the highest-paid entertainers in Las Vegas. For 44 years, Roy Horn had worked with big cats. That evening, Horn led out Manticore, a 7-year-old, 400-pound white Bengal tiger. About 45 minutes into the show, Manticore moved off his mark. He drifted toward the front of the stage, toward the audience. There was no barrier between the stage and the front row. Horn stepped between the tiger and the audience. What happened next has been disputed ever since. According to animal handler Chris Lawrence, who was standing off stage, Horn made a critical error. Instead of walking Manticore in a circle as the routine required, he used his arm to steer the tiger back into his body. A sudden movement. The tiger's face ended up in Horn's midsection. Manticore's ears went up. His whiskers extended. His pupils grew large. Horn held up the microphone to the tiger's mouth, asking him to say hello to the audience. Manticore bit his sleeve instead. Horn backed away, repeated "no," tapped the tiger on the nose with the microphone. The sound echoed through the silent theater. Manticore let go, then lunged. He bit into the right side of Horn's neck, severed an artery, crushed his windpipe, lifted Horn's body off its feet and dragged it off stage. It took 4 people and a fire extinguisher to free him. Horn survived, but he suffered a stroke during surgery, partial paralysis, and permanent impairment of his motor and verbal abilities. He never performed again. In 2020, he died from complications of COVID-19. He was 75. He refused, until the end of his life, to blame Manticore. "Make sure no harm comes to Manticore," he said in the ambulance. 44 years of experience, 5,700 performances, 400 pounds of Bengal tiger. The control was real, and then, for reasons that investigators and witnesses still dispute, one routine went slightly off script. One movement was not the correct movement, and the animal that had performed this act thousands of times responded as animals do, not as performers do. 44 years with tigers, One deviation from routine. One tiger behaving like a tiger. The last file is different from everything before it. The danger wasn't on the stage. It wasn't in the act. It wasn't even visible to the audience. The show hadn't started yet. File 5, November 29th, 2016. At&T Park, San Francisco, 1 hour before showtime. The audience was not yet seated. The performers were not yet on stage. The show had not begun. Olivier Rochette was 42 years old, a technician setting up equipment for the evening performance of the Cirque du Soleil show Lucille. He was also the son of Gilles Decroix, one of the two men who co-founded Cirque du Soleil in 1984. At 6:43 p.m., Rochette was struck in the head by a telescopic lift. He was taken to a local hospital. He was pronounced dead on arrival. The show was cancelled. His father was informed. The CEO of Cirque du Soleil, Daniel Lamar, issued a statement. "I'm heartbroken. Olivier has always been a member of our tight family and a truly beloved colleague." Rochette is survived by 4 children. Every protection system that exists in circus performance is designed for what happens on the stage. The nets, the safety wires, the crash protocols, the emergency procedures, the years of training, all of it faces forward, toward the performance, toward the audience. Olivier Rochette was behind the curtain, in the space that exists before the show begins, where the machinery moves, and the safety systems aren't watching. He wasn't performing. He wasn't in the act. He was just doing his job. An hour before the lights came up. 5 files: the sphere, the grip, the wire, the tiger, backstage. 5 different moments, 5 different types of failure, one pattern. Every circus act is built on the belief that danger can be contained, mapped, rehearsed, controlled. In the sphere, the containment had no margin. In the straps, the containment held for 15 years. On the wire, the containment was a training gap nobody had measured. With the tiger, the containment held for 44 years. Backstage, the containment wasn't designed for where he was standing. Control is not a wall, it is a distance between what is managed and what is not. The archive records the distance. Sound of screen turning off. Subscribe to the archive. The data is here.